The difficult truths that no one wants to hear, but we all need to hear. So that's why we're here, to hear the difficult truths that we don't want to hear here, right here. Truth number 1, everything you believe today will one day be proven to be completely and utterly wrong or incomplete. When I was younger, there were times that I believed I was gonna be a professional musician, that I'd never get married, that a girl wouldn't even like me. There were times where I thought I was gonna get a degree in math or physics, that I was gonna go to grad school, that I was gonna go to law school, that I would never live in the United States again, that I'd never be a morning person. In every case, I was completely wrong. Intellectually, I went through phases where I was into Karl Marx, Ayn Rand, Sigmund Freud, and Friedrich Hayek. Now I think they're all a bunch of fucking Looney Tunes. Take a minute and think back to what you believed about yourself 5 years ago. Chances are you can think of a few things that you were wrong about. Now think about what you believed was true in the world 10 years ago. Chances are you're cringing a little bit. It's funny because we've all had this experience of remembering the way we were or the things that we believed in the past. And we get embarrassed, we feel ashamed of how stupid we were. Yet none of us stop to consider that the things that we are so certain are true right now, we're gonna feel the exact same way 10 years from now. And in 10 years, we're gonna look back with the same embarrassment and disgust at the stuff that we think is true today as the way we look back today at teenage Mark trying to wear hammer pants. So the next time you feel so sure of yourself, maybe step back for a moment and think, is this one of those things that I'm gonna be embarrassed about in 10 years? If the answer could be yes, then I don't know, maybe shut the fuck up. Truth number 2, most people are not evil, they're just stupid. This definitely includes ourselves. A lot has been made about social media and how it affects our politics and our mental health. But I believe the most under-discussed effect of social media is how it promotes moralizing. And by moralizing, I mean encouraging people to make good and evil judgments about each other. A disagreement is when you think somebody's idea is bad, but moralizing is when you think that person is bad for having the idea. This mass moralization has grown to such an extent that I now believe something that I never would have thought possible 10 years ago, that we probably need a little bit less morality in the world, not more. What I mean by that is that we shouldn't act unethically. I think we should simply reserve judgment a little more often. Please refer back to truth number 1. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about. This truth is kind of a variation on something that's widely known as Hanlon's razor, which says, never attribute to malice what can be adequately explained by stupidity. But I'd like to add something to Hanlon's razor that I'll call Manson's addendum. And pretty much everything you see or read is some degree of stupidity. If we take truth number 1, that most of us are pretty much wrong about most of the things that we believe, and we combine that with Hanlon's razor, which says that most of the things that we perceive to be evil are actually just ignorance and stupidity, well, then it suggests that maybe we should be slower to moral judgments, not quicker. After all, if we accept that most of our assumptions are wrong about most things, then we should reserve our morality for only situations that are clear and obvious. Take the pandemic, for example. It doesn't matter where your politics are, it doesn't matter which country you're in, it doesn't matter what your personal beliefs are, your risk tolerances. You were horribly wrong about something at some point. We all were. The experts were, the amateurs were, the conspiracy theorists were, the scientists were. Everybody got something horribly, horribly wrong at some point. Now, you would think that this would encourage a certain degree of humility in the population, but we know how that turned out. Truth number 3. The highest leverage behavior you can adopt in your life is to care about people and show them that you care. In the 1930s, the psychiatrist named George Vaillant started to collect data on a group of Harvard graduates. Now, he collected everything. He tracked their financial situation, their family situation, where they lived, what occupations they had, whether they participated in the war or not, whether people they knew died, whether they got promotions, whether they moved to a sweet-ass new house and bought a boat. Everything you can imagine, this guy tracked over decades and decades and decades. Now, while he was tracking all of this data, he also asked them basic psychological questions. How happy are you? How satisfied are you with your life? Do you have a sense of meaning and purpose? How are your moods? Do you fucking hate your kids? At this point, as you can imagine, they've collected a lot of data. So what did Valent learn? Well, in 2004, he said that he could sum up over 70 years of psychological data with one word: love. Fucking hair in my eye. Valent explained that over the decades, there was only one variable that he tracked that consistently correlated to a person's happiness and well-being. It wasn't money, it wasn't prestige, it wasn't winning awards, it wasn't where they lived, it wasn't how fucking sunny it was last spring. It was the quality of their relationships. And how do you cultivate better relationships? Well, that's a big topic for another video, but basically, you learn how to care about others, and then you learn how to show them that you care. It's not fucking rocket science. It's a simple willingness to be close to others and therefore a willingness to be hurt by others. So when it comes to general happiness and well-being, this is the highest leverage skill that you can build in your life, to learn to care about others and to show them that you care, to build strong relationships built on trust, intimacy, vulnerability, and mutual respect, to essentially care and show that you care. And yes, my friends, that is a real puppy dogs and rainbows truth, and maybe we all need to hear it. This is Manson, out.